So what is all this GDPR nonsense and why should anybody care? Let's get into it. Okay, before I start, let me just give you a little background into why I am so obsessed. Now, I have worked in digital media for the best part of 25 years. Yes, I am that old. Now, within those 25 years, I've seen a lot of policy changes and changes in digital, clearly. And one of those biggest changes was when GDPR regulations came in and went. Went? Bear with me. So we obviously had GDPR come in, and one of my jobs as a consultant was training business owners in what they needed to do on their websites when it came to protecting people's data. And let me just say this. Literally every business that I spoke to, every reputable business that I spoke to, was terrified that they were going to fall foul of GDPR regulations. Because GDPR marked a period in digital history where people's data became more important than a business's profits. And this scared the crap out of people. Now, the reason was that people didn't really understand what it meant for a business. Well, because you needed to suddenly tell people exactly how their data was used. You needed to tell people who they needed to contact if they wanted their data changing. You needed to make sure that people were opting in to your email campaigns rather than just sending them stuff. There was a whole bunch of new changes that came in when GDPR landed. And if you fell foul of any of those regulations, you could have been hit with a nice big juicy fine that for a lot of companies would have absolutely sent them bust. Now remember I said that GDPR came and went? Well, we had this little thing called Brexit in the UK. And that meant that GDPR effectively disappeared for the Brits. But luckily, we effectively used a version of GDPR rather than completely rewriting the rules. So even though it's technically not GDPR in the UK, it still effectively is. So whether you're in the UK or you're in Europe, you are afforded the exact same rights about how a company uses your data. Okay, so let's get into the bot Sentinel stuff. So effectively, companies like bot Sentinel have access to the Twitter public API. What's that? That is effectively a pipeline of information that goes directly from Twitter to the bot Sentinel website. And that information carries things like your profile, your username, your image, and your tweets. Now that's all public data. And what I mean is, if you've been on Twitter for any amount of time, you will have noticed that sometimes your tweets might appear in Google because it's public. And when you sign up to Twitter, you effectively sign up to have your profile, your tweets, all of that is public domain. But if you want that not to be public, you also have the rights to lock your account, right? You know this. But when it comes to organisations like Bot Sentinel, they pull all of this public data, and you can see it. It's been happening for years now. With social media, a lot of companies will pull the data into their site and they will profile you. This is not a new thing. This has been going since the dawn of social media. I've used it frequently in marketing campaigns to understand your audience and what people are interested in. But here is where it gets a little bit grey. Whilst everything is fine in terms of Bot Sentinel being able to pull that data out of the Twitter API, which they're doing, what I want to understand, and it's the grey area here, is what exactly have Twitter granted Bot Sentinel in terms of how they profile us. As an example, if I wanted to use the public API and say all Amber Heard supporters are carrot eaters, am I allowed to do that? Or maybe I could say all Johnny Depp supporters are potato munchers. Am I able to do that? And this is where I have asked Twitter to explain where exactly was consent given for people to be called problematic or to be called satisfactory. And what is that rating? Now, I will say this. A lot of people are really upset right now. And I think that's entirely understandable. Now, regardless of whether you are in the UK or you're in Europe, as a Twitter user, you are covered by the Twitter privacy policy because you use the platform. And they have their own guidelines on what can be done with your data. And as a user of that platform, you have every right, whether you are in London or Timbuktu, to ask Twitter, what is it that you do with my data? And how are you policing how your API is being used? So please, I would ask everybody who is watching this, who is concerned, to go through the formal process, and I will link that below in the comments, but also you can find the links on my profile in my pinned tweet. Use the formal process because then Twitter has an official record of your concerns, your complaints, whatever. And that's all I'm saying right now. Now, folks, every interaction with this channel helps. Every like, every comment, every share, every sub. So please let me know what you think, and I will catch you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.